Now I'm in the parking lot of the hotel I'm staying at, the Wyndham, here in Gettysburg. And I'm getting ready to drive in fog and kind of a freezing mist. So we'll see how this all works out today. I'm trying to go over to Gettysburg and get a private tour of the park in the vehicle that I'm driving here. They drive the vehicle around the battlefield for you.
Then the church that we're going to pass up here ahead of us on the right had a photograph taken a few days after the battle. And right here in front of this church, in the photograph, can be seen piles of amputated limbs, arms and legs.
Wow.
From the great number of operations that took place in just one church building. Look for the Civil War shell. It's stuck in the building up there. See above the right porch?
Can't.
See the round thing? Looks like a pipe sticking out?
Oh yeah, let me zero in on it.
Okay.
Okay, this is a
Civil War projectile.
Yeah.
Or big bullet. Still there from the battle. Right above the where the shutters closed.
Yeah. Okay, now I get it.
Got it?
Yeah. Wow. And it's still in the wall.
Mm-hmm. God. There's a vanguard of the Northern Army. They're out in front, scouting ahead to find out where Confederates might be operating. They set up their camps in these fields for that night. June 30th would be the last day and night of peace around Gettysburg for a long time, but followed were the 3 days of battle in the first 3 days of July, and clearly defined each day, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, so you know where we are in the course of the battle. Here's the original McPherson barn, McPherson's Ridge, and right here is where the battle began. On the right, we have two statues. One of Major General John F. Reynolds, the highest ranking officer killed here, and then General Buford is the one standing here. On the morning of July 1, General Buford's cavalrymen discovered Confederates marching on the road here to the right. And so these cavalrymen fought dismounted for 2 hours, delaying the Confederate advancing across these fields, delayed them until 10 in the morning when the advance units of the Northern Infantry or foot soldiers began to arrive.
Almost 10,000 here, or just on the whole?
No, in the whole battle.
Okay.
In the whole
but
battle.
There's quite a few, probably almost 1,000 casualties right here in this little area here. This is where the Southern troops came up, and this is where the Northern troops were, and they were facing each other. The Northern troops had the high ground, and the Southern troops were coming up from the creek there, or the river. Just amazing. It's just it's awesome to just stand here and think of what happened here. 150 years ago.
We'll talk about that as soon as we get
Yeah.
Now, Major General John F. Reynolds, a Northern officer, was killed over there. It's over there where you see that square marker. See with the point on top? With his death, the command of the Northern troops went to the general from New York State, here to the right, Abner Doubleday. Heard of Abner Doubleday?
Oh, yeah.
Before?
Yeah.
He's credited with inventing baseball, Cooperstown, New York. But actually, he was a career Army officer after he graduated from the military academy. He was at Fort Sumter when the war began. All the land we go over and through in this tour is the property of the National Park Service, except for the town and the college, the seminary campus. The park tries to keep it like it was at the time of the battle. Where woods, it's woods now. Where farmland, it's in farmland now. Local farmers rent fields to keep it under crop production. There are places where you'll see trees recently cut down. Other places you'll see newly planted orchards and woodlots. They're trying to restore the land to the way it was at the time of the battle. Yep. This is the Eternal Light Peace Memorial that was dedicated on the 75th anniversary by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It's made of two kinds of material, Alabama limestone and state of Maine flagstone, with a flame up on top. That was to symbolize eternal peace from a nation that had been reunited. Peace eternal and a nation united is a motto in the front of that monument.
Yeah, show me the ball. Now, these would be shot out of these kind of cannons? Or that kind of cannon back
kinds. There? Okay. This is a canister ball. There are 27 of these packed in a tin can. And when the powder explodes behind the tin can, the cloth ends are blown out, and 27 balls come out at one time, and they spread out like a shotgun shell.
Wow.
The Napoleon, like we saw back at the last stop, has this size. This one is a rifled barrel, and when it's rifled, it's only 3 inches in diameter instead of 4. Mm-hmm. So the canister balls are smaller for this type.
Rifled, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Stone fences going back long before the battle. The original settlers would gather up the big rocks out of the fields and put them in rows to come out of the way of farming. In most cases, there are wooden rails along the top. And later on, we'll see what they look like with the wooden rails.
This is the original wall, people. This is not a reproduction of the wall. And this is the line of the Confederates looking out towards the line of the, let me zoom out here. The Union was just across there, about how far away?
A mile away.
About a mile away.
Get out here in a half mile. So
and see, these cannons could shoot a mile and a half. They were rifled cannons, so they were within their range. This is a monument to Robert E. Lee. Now, was he standing here on his horse when
he was on his horseback here at the conclusion of Pickett's charge.
Okay. Okay, this is where Robert E. Lee actually sat on his horse Traveler and watched the battle, and you can't see it, but there's a clump of trees right across the field here that was his point of interest and point of attack. And this was after Pickett's charge across the field, that dreadful charge that you see in the movie Gettysburg.
It was 20 acres of wheat on July 2. The wheat was trampled into the ground with changed hands 6 times. The bodies were so close together there in the wheat field that night of July 2 that a person could have walked across 20 acres of ground and never have to touch the ground. The bodies were that close.
And this was the Valley of Death right here. See, Little Round Top's there.
Little Round Top is right over there.
Yeah, right where my lens is pointing is where Little Round Top is, and you can't see it because of the fog and the rain clouds. And then, is this actually the hill right up ahead of us here?
The hill is over this way, Little Round Top.
Okay, but the hill, I mean, this hill is part of that structure?
This is the north side.
Okay.
And the lower, not as steep side of Little Round Top.
But this was called the Valley of Death?
The Valley of Death, yeah.
Wow.
And right here, where you see the little bridge, is Plum Run, P-L-U-M. Mm-hmm. After the battle, the name was Blood Run. The water was red like blood for days after the battle.
Wow. Hard to even comprehend it, people. Just hard to comprehend all the lives that were lost here in this one battle. if the United States lost that many lives in any battle now, it would be considered a disaster, and we'd just quit war forever.
Oh, if you had TV coverage.
Oh yeah, CNN and everybody else. Anyway, let me turn the camera off now.
Okay. Northwest face of Little Round Top.
This is the northwest.
Very rocky area.
Yeah, this is the northwest face of Little Round Top right here.
But it had been abandoned by General Sickles to move farther out because he wanted glory.
Yeah, he wanted glory, so he broke his command and put the general in a bad position. We could have lost the war because of that guy's idiocy.
It could have made a big difference. That's right. Yes.
This is pretty much the way it was back then, people. They're very careful keeping it the way it was. I mean, it's just. I'll put down this window here. Oh, that's the wrong window. I mean, there's a monument on the top of that hill right there. I mean, look at the rocks. This was difficult ground to walk across.
Absolutely.
I bet there were a lot of guys hiding behind those rocks, though, at some point.
Through here, right in the center, only 262 men of the 1st Minnesota Regiment, see the soldier charging here, stood in the way of a Confederate breakthrough and victory. As ordered, they charged down the slope and into thousands of Confederates. 15 minutes later, 47 out of 262 made it back. They'd lost 82% of their men in less than 15 minutes.
Wow.
They saved the center of the Union line by buying time for reserve units to be moved in. The Pennsylvania Memorial is the largest in the field. Around the base are the names of 34,000 men from Pennsylvania that fought here. Around the upper part are names and statues of generals from Pennsylvania. Plus on the front is Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Curtin. Andrew Curtin was the wartime governor of Pennsylvania at the time of the battle.
I'll pull up here. Oh, I see it, yeah.
That's the angle name. Now look across, and can we see a mile away is the Virginia Memorial. It sets back, it's directly straight 90 degrees across.
Okay.
It sets back in the trees.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
Yeah, you can barely make it out.
Yeah.
It's where the snow is whitest over
right
there. That's the area around it. Picket division formed in the woods to the left of that as we face it. They're coming across to strike here in front of the angle in the clump of trees right here to your left. General Pettigrew's division is coming from the Virginia Memorial over to the right. And the North Carolina and Tennessee monuments are out in that direction. Those troops are coming across to strike from here at the corner on up to the Bryan barn and house.
Right.
The main idea of the assault is that these two divisions were expected to break through in the center, while supporting units on each wing would pin down the rest of the Union Army. The action started over there at 1 in the afternoon. 140 Confederate guns from the peach orchard back behind us to the seminary out ahead of us fired for 2 hours into this short section.
All the way from there, all the way across there, people.
Yeah. Then 3 o'clock, General Pickett over there got 2 nods, and with that began one of the greatest infantry charges of all time. Out of the woods marched over 12,000 Confederate soldiers. They marched across at first like they were in dress parade. They're marching in steps, straight lines, music behind them and flags in front, right across that field. Northern guns are firing at them. Confederates kept coming on and on. In Emmitsburg Road, where the rail fences, which you'll see a car going.
I see it right there.
Yeah. There, Confederate soldiers climbed over 2 rail fences. Once they got on this side, they took the time to get back in line, kept coming right up the slope. At that time, Northern guns are firing canister, 27 balls of iron, and riflemen firing as fast as they could load. And on they came. Pickett's division is led by General Armistead. General Armistead's brigade is in front, and he puts his hat in the top of his sword. He held it high above his head. As he crossed the wall where that rifle's held high, he's shouting, "Follow me, boys. Give 'em the cold steel. Give 'em the bayonet." The Confederates rushed into this area. They captured these guns you see here. Some reached the crest of the ridge, almost to where the road is today. General Armistead, the Confederate general, was wounded. It happened out there in front of the left gun. See a marker like with a scroll on top? General Armistead died.
Oh, they're right there.
2 days later in Northern Hospital. He was leading his Southern soldiers from Virginia against Northern soldiers, Union Army 2nd Corps, under Major General Winfred S. Hancock. Hancock and Armistead had been the best of friends in the pre-war army, serving together in California. General Meade had reserves here to the right, behind the ridge. They rushed across and into this angle. The angle here to the left became the bloody angle, where Americans fought Americans without bothering to take the time to reload their weapons. They're fighting with their bayonets, rifle butts, artillery rammers, anything they could get their hands on. The North had more men present. The Confederates who survived were soon surrounded. About 100 of Pickett's men were captured on this side of the wall. That ended Pickett's charge 50 minutes after it started. Those who could make it back to the other side did so. Less than half who started across made it back, with many of those wounded. If you remember General Lee over there on the other side, we saw him riding out to greet the survivors. He said to them all, "It's all my fault. It's all my fault." Lee easily could have blamed subordinates or others, but as long as he lived, he took full responsibility for what had happened here. General Lee had 2 days of success, but on day 3, the Confederate Army had been unable to break through in the middle and win a big victory. At the same time, this battle became a Confederate disaster. Lee's army had lost 28,000 men out of 75,000 invaded Pennsylvania. These are veterans that the South could never replace. The war went on for 2 more years. There were more battles. There were lots of casualties. But never after Gettysburg was Lee's army able to mount any big offensive action. That's why we call this ridge right here, right where we are now, the high tide of the Confederacy, or the high watermark of the rebellion. It's the farthest he ever got. It's the highest their hopes ever rose. It was the closest the South ever came to winning the war. They did fight for 2 more years, but with little or no real hope of winning. It was principally for Southern pride and honor.
You're broken here. I mean, this is extremely hollow ground right here.
Sure is, yeah.
You should walk on it with bare feet. I'm serious.
In the snow?
Well, not today. Maybe another day when it's warmer. My guide on this trip was...
My name is John Fuss. I'm a licensed battlefield guide here at Gettysburg.
Well, thank you, John. It's still raining out here, and I'm going to put my camera in my bag here. I just got the movie Gettysburg. I'm going to watch that this afternoon. I got the copy at home, but I can't find it online, and Netflix doesn't have a feed of it, so I have to watch it on a $19 video, which is not bad. Anyway, it was worth the trip here to the Gettysburg Museum, and certainly worth the $60 to have that gentleman take me around the park. And what a gentleman he was. All right, that's going to be it for today, and I'll see you guys when I get back to Montana.